original Latin Roman roots, where the Romans spoke Latin before they got a D in Latin class. Here today we will review the Latin Quarter with me, Ricardo Tomasz.
Ah, Paris, the city of light, where time whispers its secrets through cobblestone streets. Beneath the shimmering glow of its modern grandeur lies the soul of its origins, a humble settlement founded by the Parisii, an ancient Gaelic tribe on the banks of the Seine. Here the Romans built Lutetia, sowing the seeds of a city destined for greatness. And within this cradle of history lies the Latin Quarter, a sanctuary of the mind and spirit. Named for the language of scholars, its streets have echoed with the footsteps of dreamers, philosophers, and poets. The Sorbonne, an acclaimed research university, stands as a temple to thought, its classrooms nurturing minds like Descartes, who questioned existence, and Marie Curie, who unraveled the mysteries of the atom. In its cafes, Hemingway chased the truth of human nature as well as chasing any woman with a pulse, and Sartre, who wove the fabric of existentialism, which advocates for the creation of a new identity, showing that the individual is free to define themselves.
The famous Paris Metro has been around for over a century, but its iconic opening stations and stairwells were first created by an artist as part of the 1900 centennial celebration. Here we see this classic Parisian architecture and design lasting well into the 21st century, spanning from its building in 1899 all the way to today, to 2022. What year is it?
These iconic metro stations, first built in 1899, are still impressively holding strong, and arguably much smellier today. Designed by the visionary Hector Guimard, his Art Nouveau style with its flowing lines and organic curves brought a touch of the natural world into the industrial heart of the pulsing city. These structures, inspired by vines and flowers, seemed to grow effortlessly from the streets, reminding Parisians that beauty need not be reserved for cathedrals, galleries, or Instagram. Guimard's designs were controversial at first, deemed too whimsical for some, yet they became an enduring symbol of Parisian elegance. Today, as commuters rush past, perhaps unknowingly touching the same ironwork that graced the 1900 Exposition Universelle, the stations whisper a timeless truth. Even in the frenzy of modern life, art has the power to root us in beauty.
Hello, what is your name?
Zayed.
Zayed?
Yeah.
Ricardo, it is a pleasure to meet you.
Meet you too.
Excellent.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Enchanté.
Enchanté. Goodbye. Have a good day.
I am, after all, a famous man of the people.
Nestled in the heart of the Latin Quarter, Rue de la Huchette is more than a narrow alleyway filled with Greek and Middle Eastern restaurants. It is a living, breathing tapestry of Parisian history. Once a medieval lane echoing with the calls of merchants and the clatter of hooves, it has evolved into a bustling haven for all five senses. Similar to the Grand Bazaar in Istanbul, this street, where ancient cobblestones meet the aromas of roasted lamb, has witnessed centuries of change. In the mid-20th century, jazz clubs like the famed Caveau de la Huchette filled the air with the soulful improvisations of legends like Sidney Bechet.
Oh, as I walk along these cobblestone streets, it reminds me of my home in Hungary, growing up there after the Iron Curtain fell, learning and seeing all, craving for more, much, much more. It reminds me so much of my native home of Hungary. And yet, I am hungry as I walk past these restaurants.
bounded by the timeless energy of Boulevard Saint-Michel and the contemplative quiet of the Pantheon. These streets have long been a haven for scholars and revolutionaries alike. The Latin Quarter, home to intellectuals and artists like James Joyce and Anais Nin, stretches from the foothills of Montagne Sainte-Geneviève to the tranquil edge of the Seine River, where the pulse of history flows through every brick and every whisper.
Today, we are on the banks of the Seine, which artists have traveled to for hundreds of years in order to see these very disgusting green waters. Here, we see the same view that was seen by Gertrude Stein, by Pablo Picasso, by Debussy, and by Toulouse Lautrec. Only with Toulouse Lautrec, he might have needed some help seeing over the... Anyway, we are here today to gaze upon these beautiful dirty green waters and love Paris the same way it has been loved for centuries.
The Seine, winding like a ribbon through the heart of Paris, has long been the lifeblood of this city. For centuries it has carried the pulse of trade, from bustling merchant ships that once navigated its waters, and yet its true magic lies in its ability to inspire. It was here, on these very shores, that the Impressionist painters, Monet, Renoir, and Degas, found their muse, capturing the dance of light and shadow on the water's surface. But beyond the canvases, the Seine has always been more than just a backdrop. It is a character in its own right, shaping the city's culture, its conversations, and its dreams.
I look upon these waters and I think of art. I think of art as it touches my soul, and it touches the souls of all others who gaze at art. Art can touch us in our special place. Art feels us. Art knows us. Art bees us. Bees? Yes, bees.
Yes, art is the buzzing, pollinating force of life, and there is no buzzing beehive bigger than the famous Notre Dame Cathedral.
Here we have the beautiful Notre Dame Cathedral, which was first erected. I have been known for my erecting, and it has been quite an experience for all those who have viewed it.
Here we have the magnificent Notre Dame Cathedral, first built in 1163, and miraculously still standing, despite centuries of pigeon invasions and tourist footsteps.
And here we see, on the walls outside of Notre Dame Cathedral, we see their plans for the rebuilding effort. Here you can see this is where they will add additional gift shops to Notre Dame.
And so, as we reach the end of our journey down the Seine, we reflect on the many artists, poets, and philosophers who have stood where we stand now, gazing upon these strangely green waters and finding inspirations in its murky depths. From Monet to Picasso, each one saw something unique, a truth perhaps only the Seine could reveal. And as we walk along these storied streets, we can't help but feel a bit of that magic too. Or maybe it's just the smell of the metro lingering on our clothes. Either way, Paris with all its romance, history, and yes, the occasional whiff of bad Greek food will continue to inspire, bewilder, and charm us for generations to come.